Hello, welcome back to That Beat Guys podcast with me, Peter Crouch. I've got Chris Stark and the notorious SID with me. And I've got a 4-time Olympic gold winners medal, Sir Mo Farah.
Hello, mate.
How are you, mate? You okay?
Good, yeah.
4 of them.
Yeah. 4 of them.
It's almost greedy, isn't it?
Listen, when you got 4 kids, then you...
Yeah, well,
That's lot of training.
one for each.
One each.
No.
Do you know, this is history in the making, lads, isn't it? Think about it. The Mobot meets the robot.
Here we go. It's gone in early doors.
Whose celebration is more iconic, though?
Oh.
Peter, man, look at
No,
that.
do you know what? Like, obviously, 2012 in London
Yeah.
was iconic.
Yeah.
Jamaica pre-World Cup,
Yeah.
Old Trafford, potentially not as much. I don't know. I'm not blowing smoke because mine was fucking good.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's almost what would be interesting to do is kind of parade you both out into the pub out there and just see who responds better. Is it the robot or is it the Mobot? And just kind of count how many people do each. But you're right. When you did the Mobot, the thing is, it was right at the perfect moment, wasn't it? The perfect peak of your achievement. You threw out the Mobot. Whereas the robot...
Yeah, I did it at Old Trafford, and that was obviously where it all started. But obviously, that was the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Like, where did it come from for you?
So it came from, I was on League of Their Own.
Yeah, right, okay.
Claire Borden, James Corden and Jack Whitehall. And that time I think it was coming up like just end of 2010. And we was just talking and they said to me, listen, we've got the Olympic coming up, Mo. We need to come up with a celebration for you. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'll do it. And then they tell me, Usain Bolt does that celebration. So we need to come up with a celebration for you. So amongst them, James Corden, Claire Borden was just like, listen, what about the song YMCA, the M and the O?
Oh, no, it's okay, yeah.
So then James Corden goes, oh, Mobot.
There you go.
And then I said, I promise I'll do it. And I think I did it towards 2011, first time. I'm like, I won the race, did it, and people were like looking at me, what are you doing?
Because it's bold, isn't it? You're throwing out an M.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then 2012 was like, ooh.
Yeah.
That's
massive.
the one.
There were people down the streets, isn't there? But everywhere. It was just iconic on the TVs.
Yeah.
So the kids
It was
doing it.
massive,
And it's hard to do with one hand and holding a microphone. You just get half of it there.
You look like a teapot.
But you said it was meant to be the M and the O. Did you just drop the O just for ease?
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice, okay.
There you go.
God, that makes a lot of sense now.
It does, doesn't it? You never really had a celebration
No,
like that, did
no.
you?
I scored a few goals. It was just a boring,
Bangers.
like, Shearer celebration, like the thing.
Yeah, you could. You like that one,
Yeah. Shorts up, like high as well.
Yeah.
Shirt tucked in. It weren't good. It wasn't a good look.
Mo, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast today. There's so much that we need to talk about. I don't know how much you get to listen to this podcast. There's several kind of things that are running through it at the moment, several things that we need to discuss, several things that have happened. Where would you like to begin, Pete? Should we start with some messages? Or
I've got a few messages here. I mean, well, obviously there was one. I just wanted to get your opinion really on walking as an Olympic sport. Really, like me and Sid's are going to have a battle in a walking race at Crouchfest this year. Just wanted your opinion. Really, is walking as credible as running?
Basically, it's walking a sport. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You can be as diplomatic or as undiplomatic as you want.
Listen, I've got a good friend of mine,
okay.
Tom, who walks to represent GB, and he's a good friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Would want to put him down, but again, I think, as I said, it was part of the Olympics, and I think that what they're doing now is taking out the Olympics. Is that correct?
That's what I mean. Yeah,
so they're taking out and filling in with another sport.
They've loved walking out the Olympics, have they? That's not a good sign for the sport.
Well, it's out of the Olympics now.
They've removed it, have they?
I think they've removed it, yeah.
God, you
I
don't
feel
want to
bad
do that.
now.
I feel we can bring it back.
So where you've been absolutely nailing walking on this podcast.
I haven't been nailing walking.
Some poor
But that
person at the
decision was
IOC.
made
Yeah, it wasn't my
months
decision.
and months ago.
So someone at the IOC's heard this
No.
and
I
has
think
then
it was
gone, we need to get rid of walking.
I think
It's
it
a
was
laughing
late.
stock.
Someone, let's just put this, paint the picture. You was obviously a bit late for the pod today. Yeah. And someone said, look, let's allow 3 minutes for Pete to get from the train station to the venue. And I said, I could do that in 2:30.
You know, now you're sort of heading towards...
Retirement.
Are you calling it retirement? Is that what you're calling it?
I'm calling it retirement, but the other day I was just with my kids and stuff, and I just come off the treadmill, just easy run. And my oldest daughter goes, haven't you stopped running?
Yeah.
And I'm like, not yet. Well, it's a nicer way to say it, right? Retiring. So I'm telling myself, I will retire.
Do you think you'll get into walking? is what I mean. Is like, could walking be
Nah.
the gentle sort of?
Well, it's a mode of transport.
Yeah.
It's not really a sport, is it?
Yeah. Not if you're
not walking for me.
used to
I'd rather
running.
run.
What is an easy run for you? So you said you're at home, right, on the treadmill.
Yeah.
What's an easy run for you?
Between 6 miles and 10 miles, just like
Just a
5:15 per
6
mile.
miler.
550 per mile.
Sorry, 6:15 per mile.
6:15 per mile. I'm just trying to do some quick maths on that. Sid.
Yeah.
That's mental.
That's quick.
That's really quick.
Yeah.
Do you do it with instructors on the screen, or do you just do it? Just bang it
No,
out?
sometimes I'll be watching the football, watching like catching up, or watching golf is on now, and Formula One, or just anything sports that I want to watch. I'll watch it and put it on. Other times, what I do, I've got Swift, which means like you can run with your friends, and you get people to chasing you down. It's a bit like cycling.
Yeah.
Where, you can cycle with
Yeah, a
others.
friend does that with cycling.
Really?
And I do it, but again, all the time. Even years ago, over the years, I've watched Peter. Again, football was number one thing for me. That often, even in my long run, I'll put the telly on, put the football on, because I know I'm going to get 90 minutes out of that, plus injury times, and watch the boys.
Yeah.
To be fair, it does always surprise me how much footballers run. It's when you can obviously see it, and I think we've talked about this before. You boys actually, I don't think you really notice this as a fan. You do run further than you
During a game.
let on. Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have done
Some
that.
more than others.
I used to run like an average between 10 and 13 kilometres a game.
Yeah.
So between that kind of.
That's
Yeah.
over 6 miles.
Yeah. Plus all the training, obviously, that week as well. 5 to 6K in trainings.
Pre-season, you do a bit of training as well, don't you?
There's a lot of running.
Probably a little bit more.
There's a lot of running.
It's a lot of running involved.
Just quickly, is that the same for you? Like when you're gearing up for a race, do you have to go through pain barriers to know that what the race is really going to be like?
Yeah. So often, as I said, like to me, in order for me to win races, I've got to, obviously be the best peak you can here. But everything is about the preparation. So when you can see me running last lap in 52 seconds, 51 seconds, weeks and months before that, I've done that in training and covered everything in training. So for me, I've always said this. Sometimes it's easier for me to race than, to train, because again, when you train in week in, week out, you're running 120 miles week in, week out. And again, if you think about it, if you had 120 miles one week and the next week come back, and then following week you come back, and that's at high altitude, 8,000 feet above sea level, sometimes even 10,000 feet. So often I think everything's about that, as you said, that preparation and teaching your legs that muscle memories.
Can you have a break? Like say in the summer or whatever, quite often the players have come back a little bit out of shape. Do you have to keep ticking over all the time?
No, you do have to. You definitely have to take a break for mentally and as well as physically. And again, but not too much time off, because once you have too much time off, your body just locks up and you pick up more injuries. Again, I think time I've taken off about 2 to 3 weeks, depends, and then fully off completely 2 weeks. The other week, you jogging a couple of days on, maybe got on the bike a little bit, and then the other week you just slowly build, and then once you build, you get back into it. But I find over the years, keeping your body maintaining in certain level, in terms of if I was running 120 miles a week, if I can do like maybe half of the year of running 60 miles, 70 miles, I was in better shape than rather than taking that time off completely. Because when you do have time off completely, it's almost like starting from scratch again. And it's the most hardest thing.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, it's the most hardest thing. Is
that's why I don't understand how you can retire from this sport, because your body becomes so physically reliant on training, right, to be able to function. It really is kind of all or nothing. So how's retirement for you in your head? Are you not worried? You're not worried that it's almost like turning off your body or something or are you going to have to sort of wean yourself off by still running marathons all the time, but just in the privacy of your own house?
Yeah, I think, as I said, like I've got to find something to do. And again, since the age of 12, I've run every day pretty much. And again, with myself, I just have to keep, maybe twice a week you go for a jog just to keep your fitness. Otherwise, I don't want to put on.
Well, you know what you got to do? I think you need to bring back the true meaning of the school run, because I don't think there's any integrity in it anymore. Who runs the school run? Everyone drives it.
What, with the kids?
It's a disgrace.
Kids in tow. Come on.
Should have
Hang
one, yeah, maybe shoulders or something, or one of them little pouches, you know, like the kangaroos kind of thing. I don't know.
What age
just
though?
something-
What age?
I don't know,
Your
Mo.
kids are
I'm
like,
just trying to think of
13 to
solutions
12.
here. Maybe they can cycle themselves, but with the supervision of you running alongside. But no one runs the school run.
No, no one
do
does
they?
that. No one does that.
No.
Which is wrong, really.
Well, it is wrong. It's called the school run. It's not
Yeah.
called the school drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we get you to bring that back in your retirement, you know, bring integrity back to the art of the school run. Turn it into a proper thing, proper sport.
Yeah.
Could be competitive, couldn't it?
You could make it to the Olympics, right?
No, walking did.
There's space for it now.
Just talking of school runs and schools, can I just read this message from Erin?
Yes, great.
Crouchy, don't worry about losing the dad's race too much. The same happened to Mo Farah. Is that true?
It's true.
How quick's this fella? Who was it?
He had a pair of jeans on too.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
done. I was a Premier League player and I got done. He was quick though. How was it? Was you must have been sharp though. It was just sharp over like 100.
Yeah, so it was 100 meters, and I was like, you know, said like, oh, dad's race. Everyone turned up. I turned up with a pair of my proper running shoes, and then the guy just seen me wearing jeans. I'm like, oh yeah. Race went off.
So you're
There's
in
no
your
way I was going to
spikes.
catch him.
Really?
Yeah. I'm
So
wearing
what
like,
do you know about? Have you looked into him? What's his
Was
No,
it
it's
definitely a dad?
It was the dad. Yeah, it was one of dad.
What a scalp for him.
That's a big scalp, especially in a pair of baked beans.
Yeah.
And Mo's got his spikes on.
He's got his vaporfly here.
That is what a scalp. He must be down the pub every night.
Living that moment.
I don't believe it. So what's happened there, do you think? Because you must be rapid, right? That's
Not your
and-
distance though.
In a long distance, I'm okay.
Yeah.
As he said.
I'm okay.
Do you think the
short
dad's
distance-
race should be less of a sprint and more of a, set yourself off for 26 miles kind of
I
thing?
think that's a bit too long, but I think like between 400,
like 800
400
or something,
300.
400.
But who was this guy? Like, even if you're quicker than you, technically, it must be rare that there's another dad that can match your fitness or just the intent or the competitiveness.
No, I think he must have done sports.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
early
he's gotta
on.
be a
But again,
sprinter.
he has to be a sprinter.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
He honestly, when he took off, he was just like, doof.
When did
Well,
it hit
is
you?
it-
He was like, I'm in trouble.
I'm like, and you know when you overstride, overthink it, that's only sports day.
Mate, same as me, mate. I had the same thing on the dad's race.
Yeah.
And I got off to a flyer, to be honest. First 5 yards, I was away. And then I saw this fella in chinos, and he flew past me. And, I wasn't renowned for being quick, but I was a Premier League player. I got done by a dad in chinos. Wasn't my finest moment, but...
I did the dad's race a couple of days ago now. And turned up, and to be fair, I was in my normal clothes. I got to say, when you see another dad in the shorts and the shoes or the spikes,
Like me.
I do think that's a bit twatty, if I'm honest. Like it's meant to be. Is
that you? Yeah.
It's meant to be competitive, but in normal dad clobber, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's got to be normal.
Yeah.
day club,
It's got to be. So we lined up. They asked for the dads to volunteer, and at first no one stood up. Like they were like, "Any dads want to do dad's race?" And everyone just goes quiet for a minute, but everyone looks at each other, and then one stood up. So I was like, "Yeah, go on, and I'm in on this." Take the phone and wallet out, leave it on the side. My little girl's looking at me from the
Give her
side,
the phone.
like trying to, because all the kids want you to go and compete, right? And then we lined up. Now here's the controversial bit. Just before we're about to run, I had in my mind like I'm gonna go as quick as I can here. I'm really gonna go for it. The lady with the megaphone's like, right, so it's gonna be a jumping race. I had to jump the whole way. In fact, can I just get your views on this? Because I would like to
So
call
it's
out.
like, when you say jump the whole way, it's like a sack race, but with no sack. You're
Oh,
just
the
jumping.
ropes.
You're
So you're
bounded.
just jumping like legs together.
Oh, that's
like,
tough.
What's all that about?
Right, so I've got
Not a pancake in sight.
I've got the video from this, right? And I'm fuming because, and I will name him, there was a dad called Michael next to me.
Oh my God, you shamed him.
Wow.
Michael Owen.
Sadly not, but he claims first on this, but he's definitely cheating. I'm going to show you the race now, and I don't know if you could just watch this, lads.
Fucking hell. I'm getting Mo Farah to look at the sack race.
I'm analysing technique.
He's analysing it.
He's up.
Wow.
I'd like you to decide, Mo Farah,
Yeah.
if
I'll
he
be the
did
referee.
in fact cheat in the dad's race.
Oh, he's running.
He's running.
He's running there.
His legs are not together there.
He's flapping his
He's
hands and running, basically.
Yeah.
So can you confirm that Michael there cheated in the dad's race at my daughter's school?
Michael, that is disgrace. Honestly, looking at this video,
It's an absolute
blatantly
disgrace.
cheated
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Michael.
Are we going to give Chris 8th there?
You're still getting third though.
Confirmed. He's not. You won't know.
Yeah.
You won't know.
No, that's third.
It's a podium. It'll
Yeah.
do.
Oh, it's a podium.
Mo, should we go right back to the start then? So, did you ever play football much? You're an Arsenal fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
But going right back, were you ever kind of competitive in football in any way, or was it always just a hobby?
No, for me as a youngster, all I ever wanted to do is become a football player.
Yeah.
And honestly thought I was the best and thought, you could play for the school, and then I joined a local club, and I was playing for my local club on the Sunday league. But I was okay. I wasn't that good at it. I can head it out and clear the ball, but didn't have any skills.
You're a defender.
So they put me like defend and midfield, just on the wing. So you could run up and down, and that was it. And then later on realised maybe this is not for me.
Yeah.
Because again, as I said, when I watch football and understand more,
Yeah.
it's not just about kicking a ball.
Yeah.
You got to have the skills. You got to think about the game and position and understand more. But good thing running worked out.
I've got to touch on obviously the documentary you made and everything, right? How hard was that to sort of make the decision to do that? Because watching that for me was such an eye opener, and I think for a lot of people in some ways, because it's something you probably carried for so long. What was the reason behind doing it, and was it a weight lifted when you did do it?
Yeah, and in case people who listen to this might not have seen the documentary yet, could you just say a bit about what happened and the story of that?
It was something so hard because again, I was so young. So the reason why I wanted to make that documentary, it's just seeing my kids. So my girls are 10, coming up to 11. My son's 7. My oldest, she understands, and she always knew something wasn't quite right, and her not seeing like her cousin, my brothers, my mum, and all this stuff. She kind of knew, but the reason why I did it is because you hold on to it so long. Just like I just wanted to let it out, but again, it was never a moment that you could let it out, because again, after 2012, my life has just changed. You become not Mo, the runner Mo and stuff, which was amazing. And again, without the support and people, it wouldn't be the same. But again, it was just about my career and who you become. When I, as you all know, my name was Mo. We all know Mo, but my birth name was Hussein, and that's why I named my son,
your boy,
my boy, after him, because again, it meant something to me. It was hard to do that, because again, I just wanted to go back, and as you said, as you got older, things happen. Your parents make decisions, or in certain situations, things happen, but you want to understand how it happened. And for me, it was just like try and get to the bottom of it, and actually find out what has happened, and go back to my mom, go back to where I was born, go back to where it really happened.
Were you genuinely like discovering things on that journey? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you didn't know before anything at all. You just went and went back to Somalia and found the people that kind of raised you, brought you up.
I probably knew about 50%, but the other 50% I didn't have a clue why and how. So when I came to the UK, I came with this lady, as you know, in the documentary, and thinking I was going to go and see my relative, my grandma, and that was never the case. And then I was brought up, went to that house with the lady, and it was difficult how obviously go without going into everything. And again, I really struggled in that house, and obviously, and then got involved with the social services, told them, and then the school got involved because they saw me, how unhappy I was as a child. And I got removed from that situation, and then put in with a friend of mine, his aunt, I call her aunt as a respect, and end up staying at her house till I was probably about 14, going to uni. But again, all these things, and then when I finally moved out, I think running helped me escape. Definitely. It gave me something, to go work towards it, and get that reward, and keep having that drive. And again,
I think that's the amazing thing about sport. Like even in football, like, and obviously, you know, I haven't got a story like that at all.
No.
But you know, even if you've got any kind of problems, you go out on the football pitch and forget about everything.
Yeah.
And I assume, you know, running very much the same.
Yeah. It was when I was running, I was just happy with running, and again, that's all I could control. There's nothing else I could control, and I think I know it gave me a space where you know, and a set of freedom to be me.
Incredible journey.
Also, and also you being a parent and feeling that this is something that, because what I found really interesting as well was when you talk about having to answer questions, and it's hard because you want to protect your kids at all times, and maybe an increasing weight also to want to share with them your truth, not the truth, but your truth. And we talk about upbringing in this podcast quite a bit. We talk a lot about Pete and his relationship with his father, and it differs, and it differs between everyone. And it feels to me that you had an upbringing that was so influential on your life, yet you didn't feel that you could talk about it even with your children. They must be so proud of you now to be able to hear that.
Yeah, no, again, in a sense, as I said, even like in my career, you know, now you add the little pieces together. You see my kids on the running track, everywhere I go, you see my family. And often I think the question is like, why is it always family there? But again, that's what family meant to me. So again, I was trying to get involved with my kids, whatever I do, to make them understand and you know, just be part of my journey, because again, it's not wrong or right, but again, with our upbringings, we all have stories. And again, the way our parents treated us, or we see the kids, when we have kids ourselves, we want to go, I know how that felt. Yeah, I ain't going to put you in that situation, but I'm going to try and control. And it was hard. And again, with that, I don't think I would have done this, as you said, the commentary, if it wasn't for my kids. Because the kids is what got me through. And secondly, it's the kids that, you know, asking you questions like, oh, Dad, where's your brother? Where's your mom? What were you doing at this moment? And then you kind of go, they're good. And you change subject. But they're smart enough to work out.
Yeah, of course.
It's special, isn't it?
Yeah,
are they into their running then? Are they?
They are into it. My son is playing football. I want him as good as Peter.
Is that the aim?
Hopefully get him doing that.
Maybe he can mix the mobot and the robot. It'll be a sort of everything.
But well, obviously then you become a runner, and everyone goes, oh, you know, most people, if you're a fair weather kind of athletics fan, you'll see 2012 and you'll think that's where you arrived. But obviously the amount of hard work before that, what was your kind of break, and what were the big wins early on for you where you thought, actually, I've got a chance now?
I've got picked for the World Youth Olympics in, I think it was when I was about 14, 15.
Yeah.
And they took us to Disneyland, Florida, as part of, you know, someone has a potential, like youngsters. I think it was myself, like loads of sprinters, like javelin, you know, maybe even walkers. Few of them in there. They took us down that. They took us to Disneyland, Florida, and then we came back home. And then from that moment, my mind changed, and I wanted to become an athlete. I wanted to be, you know, if these are rewards of, you know, being an athlete, I want to become an athlete. And I think that my attitude has changed, and then from that moment I just focus on running rather than try and focus on football, other stuff, or just full on. And then again, made through under 20, and then I went under 23, and then my first senior was in 2003 when I ran for Great Britain.
Yeah, I've talked about on this podcast, like how kind of like, say, from 16 to sort of 21, like, was actually when a lot of people lose focus. Then I was probably more focused in those years because I knew what I wanted to do. Yeah. Would you say the same for yourself?
Yeah, no, for sure. As I said, for youngsters, and you see them now, and I see with my kids, and again, and I think it's when you do have to make your mark, it's like coming from under 20, that's your crucial years in terms of if you want to, you know, make into, if it's football or athletics.
That's me. I was, you know, on the path of these lads here. I was a brilliant footballer at a kind of quite average club, and I was planning to blossom quite late in the sport, but I was distracted by booze, girls, and barbecue.
But look at the barbecue you've become.
You know, we all find our own paths.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, the sausage rolls.
This next part of the podcast is brought to you by Brewdog. So, as we've been sat here the last few weeks enjoying our pints of Lost Lager, it has inspired something that we want to do. It's made us think about all those people that we've lost touch with, that we'd like to reconnect with, and reminisce over a beer. But rather than just reminisce, we thought we'd do something about it. And this is where the Lost and Found Challenge was born. So what we're trying to do is encourage people to reconnect with old teammates or old schoolmates, or just that one person that you think, like, right, let's do it now. Let's make this the time that we reconnect. And Crouchy, last week we did it with Lee Hendry.
You know what? It was brilliant.
Wasn't it good?
Honestly, because I was so tight with him. We lived in each other's pockets when we were at Villa, and then obviously lost contact. No, they say lost contact, but you know when you just text someone every now and then, it's random. But to see him when he came down, and obviously we did the quiz after, and we all left, and he was having such a good time. He just stayed.
Wow. We actually did a bit of a bad thing since we, at one point, me and Crouchy left in a bit of a hurry just because it was a bit chaotic. It was quite a lot of people.
Carnage, to be quite honest.
It was carnage. Pints had been had, everything. And suddenly it was like, okay, right, I'm just going to run out rather than make a big scene. I saw Crouchy had done the same outside, and we both looked at each other, and it was like, you know that moment in Home Alone where they look at each other and like, what have we forgotten? And they go, Kevin! It was
Lee Hendry!
We both looked at each other and went, no! And then we had to hang around whilst we phoned for someone to check that Lee Hendry was aware.
It was all good. He got home safe and sound. Yeah, he was having fantastic.
They've been reunited.
Yeah. Anyone you've lost, Sid? Anyone like you've lost contact with? Like, you know when you played, like...
We still speak all the time now, yeah.
Well, that's Scott Mills, Chris. You still speak to him?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Sugar Babe since? Or
okay, we're doing this is now every episode, is it? Is it?
Well, I really enjoy
That's
it.
a nibble.
I mean, what would be a laugh?
That was a nibble
to
there.
To be fair,
that was a proper nibble.
Fair, it would be a laugh is to like if Lee Hendry's hit 1 week and the next week there's a Sugar Babe just sat there from a story where I have made up
a story.
As if it actually happened. Like, for all intents and purposes, the awkwardness has become so much now from a story that was fake that they might as well have been an ex.
But why like, I don't know why you're so awkward about it when you made up the story. Yeah, so you should be kind of comfortable.
Because you're not telling the whole story every time. You just present it as one of my exes is a Sugar Babe, rather than actually
that's the headline.
Just like, there's no context whatsoever. And at some point she's going to hear about this and be like, why is he making up all this stuff? Whereas I'm literally telling the truth, which is that I made up that story.
Okay. Well, however, the ultimate reconnection of Lost and Found, for me,
yes,
would be you and Siobhan.
Okay. But, okay. Fucking hell. But, right, for me, what I would like to know, Peter, who else is on your list? Lee Hendry 1 week.
Let's go through the phone, right? We often do this, don't we?
I quite enjoy it. I spot someone new every time.
It's a big phone book, that.
It is quite funny. Who do you want to go for?
Oh my God, you've got Cliff Richard.
Cliff Richard. I forgot to delete that. Oh.
That's a hell of a... How have we not... Right, book it in now. We're doing another Crouchy phone episode sometime soon.
Yeah.
Come on, who have you not spoke to for a while?
Do you know who I haven't spoke to for ages? Like, cause we every day, me and Sids are on BT. I do BT with Rio Ferdinand all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I used to speak to him, every week because I see him Champions League on a Saturday. Let's get Rio down.
Rio. You want to reconnect with
we can see.
with
He was
Rio?
a busy man. We can try and get him down. Let me fire him a text. Him and Cliff Richard.
Go for Rio.
Shall I set up a group?
Go for Rio. Do you remember when we did that before? Who was in that group we did before? Sids, we whacked a load of people into a group from Crouchy's phone as if it was like Big Brother, like our own reality show.
They still speak sometimes. Honestly, yeah. Like just
I remember this.
Yeah.
I do remember this.
Was it Fiona Bruce?
Fiona Bruce was in it, yeah.
There was a kit man in there, I think.
Big Kev kit man.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is what it's all about. You lose contact with people, put them in a group and just see how they get on.
Go for Rio Ferdinand. It'd be great to get him on. If you can't get him, Cliff Richard.
All right. Well, hopefully it's more likely we'll get Rio, if I'm honest. So hopefully we'll have a pint of Lost Lager with Rio Ferdinand next week.
Done.
Yeah. And if you're new to this podcast, we are joined up with Brewdog. We record the podcast here at Brewdog Waterloo. We want to do another event. We mentioned about the quiz that we did with, and Lee Hendry came along to that actually and got involved.
Really enjoyed it.
It was good fun. There was a good group of people here. Was a bit carnage, if I'm going to offer some feedback.
Good carnage,
it's like, yeah. I mean, it was carnage.
Borderline.
Also, for a quiz, Sids, like we started the quiz and there was a fire alarm go. We did a whole quiz at one point with a fire alarm going off in the background. It was fine. There was
no one evacuated.
No, it was just good fun. A few drinks were had, some interesting team names. We want to do another event. I think we're going to do something different to a quiz. We're thinking maybe we might do a beer pong tournament.
Nice.
Which could be fun, right?
Could be a lot of
I
fun.
like that.
Just got to run it past a few Carls. That would be at the end of July. If you're interested in getting involved in this, what you need to do is go to brewdog.com/crouch and buy a pack of Lost Lager. Everyone who does so will have a chance to win a pair of tickets to get along to what might be beer pong, might be something else, but I hope it's beer pong. So get on it and hopefully we will see you soon.
Right, we can't have you there, right, and not talk about 2012, right?
Yeah.
What was that whole kind of experience like? It's felt like the stars kind of aligned, like in London, you know, you at the peak of your powers, quite a lot of our athletes at the peak of their powers.
There was a huge focus on you.
Just the camp in general, can you just talk us through that? Because like we've been in, you know, football camps and, you know, we've been away for numerous weeks, but what is it like in an Olympic village where, you know, you're with all the other athletes and obviously, especially at 2012?
2012 was huge, and as a long distance runner, you're not on the beginning of the week, you're on end of the week. So it's already started, so they will have swimming and then athletics kicks in and then the athletics go from sprint and then all the way through. And at that point I was in training camp in south of France and I came in 2 days before the race, so I even watched the opening ceremony on telly in France, so you don't quite see everything.
What? You weren't there for it?
I wasn't there.
Ceremony.
Because
That's
never
mad.
knew that.
Yeah, so you only focus on your race and you come in 2 days before, you go through, you go to get your accreditation. Once you get the accreditation, and then you go through to Athletes Village, and then that's where the village, you know, in terms of they have like McDonald's and restaurants.
Yeah.
You talk about uni
Basketball.
and that life experience, though. The Olympic Village, as I understand it, sounds like what Halls was for me at uni. Except everyone is like on
Partying,
for a
very
medal.
fit.
Everyone's on for a medal. I've heard it's an absolute shagathon.
Is it?
But fun, and it's like the mingling of all these different athletes and people find other people.
Yeah.
But is that what it's like a bit like a campus, I guess?
It was, yeah, because again, it's like you got from football, basketball, hockey, you name it, every sports is in there. And again, for me, I was a massive fan of football, basketball. So
They stay in there as well. Like,
so
what is it, like a hotel in there?
So it's almost like apartments. So you have like big apartments here for Team GB, and then you have other teams.
They built them for it in 2012.
okay.
I seem to remember.
And then around it, they have like maybe a little bit run around, and they have a restaurant. They have like arcade area where playing games and stuff, washing machines, and it's almost like a little village of self-contained.
So you're mingling, like you're just like mingling around, like with everyone, really.
Yeah, you are, but you're not in a way. For me, I was like, I'm always the last
focused.
one. You always focus, and by the time you got onto, it's on one day to go. I'm usually on a Saturday or on a Sunday, and then that's it. And there's a closing ceremony and big party afterwards, and But
do you get like, obviously you're focused, right? You're coming in late. Do you get some of the swimmers who already finished all their stuff and they're just bang on like stag do? So it's like a clash of people who have done their races and people who are now focused on their next race. Is that what it's like?
So normally swimmers are the first sport.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they are, that's it.
Just enjoy it.
They enjoy it, have a laugh, the noise.
Enjoy it, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're absolute monsters in the bar. So it's like exam season, I suppose, like doing A-levels, and you all finish at different times, and some of your mates are in the pub and you're still having to revise. Wow,
it's hard.
This is just incredible. At the highest level of sport, the pinnacle, the gold medal in the Olympics, right? I know you must get so used to talking about the medals in the Olympics, but it's still the very top. It's very magical that that's the case, right? Does it still hold that power to you?
No, it does. And I think as an athlete, every athlete dream of becoming an Olympic champion, and to do it for me right in front of my home crowd and in London. Yes, again, that would never be forgotten. Even with me, sometimes you're going through a bad patch and you're going struggling. I try and think back at that moment. And again, as I said, just to be part of that Super Saturday with myself and Jessica.
That was absolutely incredible. That was like one of the best sporting moments, wasn't it?
I had tickets to it and I gave them away.
What? You gave me away?
I gave them away. Wow. Do you know what it was? Because I remember it so vividly. I did the ballot and I was with my ex at the time.
Okay.
And when we broke up, I remember feeling really bad. I was like, we can't both go together because we've broken up. So I went, you have the tickets. And I watched that Super Saturday and watched you race from a pub, drowning my sorrows, but also cheering you on. Yeah, and it was such a weird mix of emotions.
So Siobhan from the Sugar Babes went. she went.
No,
to 2012.
I'm not continuing that, Crouchy. Oh dear. But 2012, just going back to that, so you're not at the opening ceremony. Did you really feel kind of the power of the whole event? Because I think looking back, it was such a special time, wasn't it? It was just fun to be around.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, what I wanted to ask, if for something like that, everyone is looking to you, right? Because you are our hope.
Yeah.
And it's in London, right? So I remember, let me take you back to my athletics career. And my nerves before races. I used to run at Perivale. You grew up in, I don't know if you ever ran at Perivale.
Yeah.
We used to do that there, and I used to get so nervous. Yeah. I remember my worst ever thing that probably ever happened to me was I did the 100 metres and fell over in front of all the other schools.
Yeah.
And I've never been so embarrassed.
That's why I don't do sports days.
Honestly, I was so...
that is it.
But do you ever think... negatively like that, what if this happens or what if that happens? And the nerves.
Stomach. Yeah, the nerves.
Do you have that?
Yeah, all the time. Even for me, like I said, that we're talking about Olympics, but even if I have a normal race, I get nervous. And I think when you're nervous, it's a good thing because it means you care and you want to do well. And sometimes you wouldn't even eat anything because the nerves is just so much. You're just like, I'm going to throw up. I can't eat. But after a while, you just get used to it, and I try and think about think about how hard you work, think about just take it out like another race and just, but again, it's a good thing to be nervous.
Do you know from training, that you've got a chance of the medals?
Yeah.
You sort of see everyone else's times and you think, I'm on here.
Yeah, I think every race is different, but in the championship, when you go into a championship, I already know if I want to win a medal, what kind of times you're looking at and what you have to run in your last 1K or last 2K. So roughly you can tell. And again, it's being able to understand about your oppositions. So for example, if I'm racing against 3 Kenyans, 3 Ethiopian, 2 Ugandans, I'm looking at, okay, what's his name? What has he done? What race has he done? What's his 1500 meters time? What's his 800 meter time? You're looking at ways, and then you're going to figure tactics in terms of tactics. How am I going to beat all these guys and come up with tactics that you can beat them? It's not just say, okay, he's going to win. And how
do you regulate that then? Just so as in, do you have someone on the side? Are you allowed to? Excuse my naivety here, but can you almost have a coach on the side that's working out? Right, they're running at a slightly quicker pace than we expected, or slower. So a bit like with Formula One drivers, where they could go into your ears and I know you haven't got something in your ear, but is there someone on the side that somehow helps you with this?
No, but
not?
you just looking at the screen on a screen. When you're running, it's almost like, I don't know, have you ever done a car racing? You just know what position you're in, and you know the car's there. Yeah. You just know your space.
Yeah. And how much shithousery is involved in the pack?
Yeah.
And how much kind of if there's like you say, if there's 3 Ugandans in front of you, right? Is there a couple that might just keep you back? No, and obviously, so we can go. No, all that happens, right?
All that happens. So they work as a team, and again, if there's 3 Kenyan guys, and then they got one guy who's stronger than the other 2 will sacrifice. He would go, listen, boys, I need to win the race. Do that, and often it does happen. But again, it's just
can't allow yourself to be blocked
and then when is that right moment? 2 laps, 3 laps to go. I got to be on the outside or right on the inside at front. because again, if they block you in,
You can't get out.
That's
Can't
more
get out.
positioning. But is there any like words being thrown around like you ain't got this? I've got you. Like,
no,
I
What,
want to know like
sledging?
Yeah.
sledging. That's
Yeah.
it.
Shithousery.
Whilst they're running,
Yeah.
that's tough.
you're right.
Doing it while you're breathing, but
Give
is
it a
there,
nudge. No, again, as I said, like it's in sprint it happens, but for me, I was always just messing around and joking around on some. Actually, one of the guys, the coach, came up to me the other day. He's like, "I'll never forget Mo when you were like 2013 when you came up at the warm up track." And I can't even remember I said this, but at the warm up track, they have their coach and they have the agent, and the agent's the ones put them in races and stuff like that. And the agent will have about 60 athletes and stuff like that, and there was all the Kenyan guys there warming up, and I'm warming up next to them, doing a couple of strides, you make yourself look good, and you want to be able to, when you see you like, oh yeah, he's in good
He
shape,
looks good.
make yourself look good. And I remember going to them and he was talking to them, and I was going, don't worry, I'm ready for this. You can tell him what you want.
Really?
Yeah, but it wasn't a bit
Love that.
arrogant, but it was just like me, just
Letting
being me.
them know.
And then the guy said to me, I can't believe his face is dropped, the Kenny guy's face dropped.
there you go, lay down the marker early doors.
But again, it's just, you know,
Set
when
your
you
stall out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let
when
them
you-
know. First five.
Yeah.
That's
First
what you
five,
both
mate.
That's the
say,
first
isn't it?
five.
First
Yeah.
five,
No,
mate.
first five. When
Win
did
your
you
battles.
get? You know when you got your knighthood.
Yeah.
Was that after 2012? Was that?
No, it was after Rio.
It was
Yeah.
after
It
Rio.
was after Rio, yeah. So in
What an
2012.
amazing moment
Yeah.
that must have been.
No.
Thought you meant you were after third down there for a minute. In the queue.
He's not got one, is
Not
he?
yet.
But,
NBA.
MBE, is he?
Yeah.
We've been
Rio.
talking about David Beckham absolutely gagging for a night. He still hasn't
Yeah.
managed it. And in our WhatsApp group, Crouchy's starting to ignore me with it. But I keep firing in evidence for this. He was posing with a picture of the Queen the other day. Like, it's just little things like that. He's really trying to let them know that he hasn't got one yet.
yeah.
My theory is they're doing it on purpose, right? In a bit of royal housery. They're just ignore it every year. They go, right, who should we do?
Not David.
Knighthoods. Someone will go, what about David now?
Pia?
Nah. Roll it over.
What's that day like?
Honestly, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Because when you first get it, they send you a letter in the post and you open it up and they say that we would honour to give you this. And then you're like, yeah, accept it, send it off. And then they give you some dates. But honestly, it's just, as I said, like I was lucky enough to meet Her Majesty. And on that day, it's nerve-wracking as well as
Well, you get the sword, don't you? It's
get
the sword on the
and-
shoulder.
Yeah, the old sword. Nice. What did she say to you?
She said, when are you going to retire?
Wow.
Yeah, and that was so many years ago.
Wow. When are you going to retire?
Yeah,
Not even how
seriously.
well you've done. When are you going to retire?
Do you get weird? Is it the sword on both shoulders and the head? Or am I imagining that? Is
Just
it
both shoulders? I think.
both shoulders?
Both shoulders.
Yeah, and
Both
Nice
shoulders.
that. Have you ever imagined that, Crouchy? Been down your knees
No,
getting
no,
knighted?
I've not imagined it. No.
He's a national treasure, this one, isn't
Yeah.
he?
Be great if you got a call up before Bex though, just for
Oh,
the,
I'd love
for the pod. It would just. Did you honour Her Majesty with a Mobot or?
no, mate,
No,
listen,
no,
you
no.
just,
Very-
just like, what do I say? And
Yeah.
honestly, like
Where were you at Buckingham Palace?
Buckingham Palace, yeah. But she knew so much, and again,
Really?
it wasn't just like when you go to retire, but again, she knew who you were, and it amazes me like the amount of people going in.
Yeah.
How the hell do you know everyone and what they do? And even for me, if you ask me somebody, I'm like, I think I've seen him on telly.
She's got a great sense of humour because she was really into the opening scene, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Was
Oh, God, with Daniel
Helicopter.
Craig.
David
Yes.
Craig and
That's
Paddington
best.
there and stuff like that. Was there recently in the James Bond one with the
That was
2012?
the best. The
Yeah.
22, 'cause
But she's cool.
did you know
God
that was
bless her.
happening?
She's-
Mate, I
she
didn't
was
know.
cool.
I know it was all in French and subtitles, just reading the subtitle, but I ain't that quick. So I was like,
Really?
And then
It
she
was
turns
amazing.
around, it was actually her. It
Yeah,
was such an
that is
amazing moment. Have you updated your passport to
Yeah.
include? Yeah, you've got to.
I had to do that.
Yeah.
Listen, listen,
I'd expect you to call me sir if I'm on this podcast. If I was a sir, I'd
Well, I
want
don't
you
think he
to-
was introduced as Sir on this, was he?
No, I did.
At
I
the
saw,
start?
did
you?
Maybe
no,
not.
you
Maybe
could.
not.
Well, listen.
All right.
it's all
Sorry,
good.
mate. Sorry.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
We're not at school. Yeah, it expired, so I had to.
So we're not at school.
It was going to expire. Yeah, there's about 6 years left on the passport.
No, was it?
What's next then, mate? So What's next for Sir Mo Farah?
What's next for me? Almost retirement, mate. In September, I'll do the Great North Run.
Okay.
September 10th, and then after that, officially retired.
Yeah.
New hobby?
I've got to find something to do, honestly.
Yeah, golf. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind golf.
Yeah.
Get him involved. There's one that we've got one involved.
Abby knows my wife as well. She can just
that's it.
We'll
park them and then.
That's nice, isn't it?
Can we say that?
Keeps them both distracted. That's what Pete's saying. That's perfect, Mo.
I didn't mean that. I meant they could have lunch or something. I don't know. They're not into golf.
Go to some treatment while we play a bit of golf.
Yeah, I mean, would you, if you found, do you play now, or are you just about to take it up?
I've played a couple of times, but I wouldn't say like I'm great at it. And I think it's one of these things where if I do want to take on, it's something that needs a lot more time.
Need a lot of time. Go on, sorry.
With me, I want to be able to like do it properly.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Yeah, we're still not there yet.
After 25 years, I'm still not there.
No, me and Sid have obviously retired. I suppose we're veterans in retirement now. And golf, honestly, is a great pastime because it takes a long time. And you just go out in the middle of nowhere with your pals and just compete at sport a little bit, but it's not as strenuous. You have, water after.
Gin and tonic.
And then water.
Just going on to retirement, when did you start making the decision? Because obviously as a footballer, your body's sort of getting there. How did you know, or how long ago was it that you sort of mapped out that this is probably the moment for me now to step aside?
Yeah, and I think it's just being honest with your body. And
is that really what it is down to?
It comes down to that. And as much as we love it, if your body can't do it, it's the most frustrating and hardest thing, because again, you're capable of it. You've done that before. It's something you've done. But again, to maintain it and keep doing it, if your body's not allowing you, that is the hardest thing.
It is hard because I suppose you're never going to hit those heights again, never going to feel that buzz again. How do you kind of replicate that?
Would you transfer it to your kids and then just hope that they can...
Would you want your kids to be like runners like you or not? No.
I think it's said kids, I want them to have fun. And for me, I meet loads of parents and lots of people and kids, because they've done sports, they're putting kids in their sports, and I want you to do better than what I did, and that's hard on the kids. I think let kids be kids, let them enjoy, let them pick their sports. I'm there to guide them, and I will help them out if they need my help. But I should never push them. But saying that, my daughters and my son actually doing a bit of athletics as well. They want to do it, and I'll just carry on supporting them. And my son's playing a bit of football. If I had the choice, I would say get into football.
So you're a big Arsenal fan, right? So how you must have been obviously pleased with last year. I mean, ultimately disappointed you didn't win it, but what massive strides this year.
It is a massive, as you said, it's a massive jump to where we were last year. As I said, to finish second in the Premier League, at the beginning of the season, if someone said to you, you're going to finish second to Man City, you would take that any day. It would have been nice to see the team just come through and had a little bit more. But again, that's where we were. We wasn't good as Man City. As you said, Man City in terms of depth, how many players they have. They're on the bench. You see how many players are on the bench. And I think now with the 3 signing, it will make a difference. And as we get to towards the end of the season, hopefully we're not struggling with injuries.
Yeah. Do you know any of the players? You mentioned footballers. Like who are you friendly with? You friendly with any footballers or any Arsenal boys you've met? Yeah,
I met quite a few over the years. But I'm a big fan of Saka, Smith Rowe, youngsters, and again, I think I was fortunate enough. After 2012. I was going to regular watching Arsenal, and I got invited to the training ground and spent a lot of time. And I remember someone pointing out Saka, going, he's going to be a player, him. And then Smith Rowe was there, and to see people like him come from there, and you actually seen them when they were quite young. It's incredible.
Get involved in the coaching setup, maybe that could be.
There's a lot of sprint coaches now. There's a lot of athletic people
coaches
that are in like sprint coaches or. Fitness coaches within football now, so there is that avenue.
I think, as you said, it's discipline, it's understanding, and again, as you said, coaching is not just about he's Olympic champion, he's going to get me a result. it doesn't come from like that. It comes of, having the right attitude, seeing them, observing them, looking around what's around them, the lifestyle they live. There's a lot of stuff, and I think that's what I've learned over the years. It's not about going, he's the best coach, I'm going to go to it.
And would you, like with footballers, a lot of the time it's like you work in the media or you coach or manage.
Yeah.
There's quite often those two options are the main options. Like, is it the same in athletics? Like, would you do the TV, or would you go and coach maybe young kids, runners, or potential people coming through?
I'd love to coach youngsters and works. But again, it's as I said, that we were having a chat earlier, and I was like, that buzz. How do you get that buzz? And I think when you coach and you see the result and who you produce and seeing young kids coming along and becoming someone, that's that feeling that you've had before. And I'm always kind of looking for that. But again, you just got to find something that you enjoy and have a laugh with.
I think talking of buzz, I think this might be fitting to say, look, there's a possible race that's going to go on at Crouchfest free, a walking race with me and Crouchy. And obviously seeing you being a good adjudicator on Starkey's race, there is a possibility of getting Sir Mo at Crouchfest free as the starter, and what a better way of getting a medal off of Sir Mo.
So you donate one of your Olympic golds to the podcast.
Yeah. Listen, you can just confirm that now.
I don't know whether you're free and available that night, but I think we need someone. We need someone official that can see this one off.
And Crouchfest, by the way, just think 2012 opening ceremony. But bigger.
There's more of a global audience, isn't there, for Crouchfest? But he's called it on, right? I think I could beat him in a walking race. He thinks he could beat me, and we might do it at the Bude Tunnel.
So, Mo, who do you think, just looking at them both here, will win the walking race at Crouchfest 3? And
I didn't see them walking.
To be honest, Mo, right?
If you get you on the track,
just by looking at us, obviously, like Sid's has got big walking thighs, right? But I think my stride, personally, is going to outweigh those thighs.
Like, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag here. So me and obviously Pete play golf together. So there's the gym at the golf club as well. So we see each other quite regularly at the gym as well. And I'll be smashing out a big leg day, and I'll be peering over, and there'd just be this big sort of praying mantis on the running machine, just
walking up hills,
walking away,
getting ready.
And I just give him the look. I just give him the glare. I say, okay, it's on. So
he's going for pure power, and I'm going for the incline training.
Who do you reckon?
Who do you actually think?
I think it's a close one.
It's close.
I think so.
He's not pinning
box office stuff, isn't it?
He's not pinning it either way. Go on, you got to choose one.
What are you choosing?
Oh,
let's put you on it.
I know it's very hard. I think Sid's might have him.
Do you think he might have me?
I think the favourite is going to be you.
No problem.
He's just hit it with so much confidence.
I think in terms of you, there's more people think you, but then
that's
it's always
why. I go for the underdog. I'm a Watford fan, So actually, I really probably think Pete's going to win, but
really,
I want to support the underdog.
I've got the sympathetic vote.
All right. Well, it'll be revealed, won't it?
That day will come.
4th. That day will come. The day of reckoning. Very much similar to 2012.
Got a message here. It's about the Jose Enrique experience that we've been offering on the podcast. Regular listeners will know what this is about. It says, "Hi lads, just listen to the Julian Dix episode. What a banger that was. I reckon after listening to Luke's Torquay experience, I think I can raise the game. My suggestion is that on the 13th of October, I have a night out to which my sisters have bought us S Club 7 tickets for their reunion concert in Liverpool at the M&S Arena, and we're going to have a few drinks afterwards. This is the night before my 40th birthday. Not only that, but the day after, we have a house booked out for my 40th with 20 of us staying somewhere down south. I'll be more than happy to have a full birthday weekend as Jose Enrique. And what says Jose Enrique more than Jose Enrique in Liverpool dancing to Reach for the Stars? All the best, Trev."
Okay. So, Jose Enrique, Liverpool player, used to play for Newcastle, Liverpool. There was a pair of his shoes. We sent one lucky listener behind the velvet rope. He had a night as Jose Enrique at the time of his life. This fella is telling us he's going to go to S Club 7.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's a bold move. There's a lot to compute there because I'm struggling to imagine a 40-year-old doing their birthday at an S Club 7 concert, dressed as in a footballer's shoes. The whole thing's a bit of a mismatch, which is why it appeals. My main question would be, would Jose Enrique go to an S Club 7 concert? And that's no offence to S Club. I'm a huge fan.
I don't think he would. I'm a huge fan of S Club. We all are.
We all had to tune to that, right?
I actually went to a concert.
It's all coming out.
I actually went to a concert a long time ago. Yeah, it was great.
Was it?
Yeah, it was great.
What was your favourite?
Actually, Rachel was.
Is it? Yeah. I was a Bradley fan.
Bradley, okay.
So maybe we'll think about that. My only thing would be, I think what we want to do is be able to offer someone listening to this an opportunity to go behind the velvet rope, as Crouchy was saying. I'm not sure we'll be able to do that S Club because I don't think there is one. So keep sending in ideas for what you would like and who we can send these shoes to. Tell us what town you're from, what local club you'd like to go to, and we'll try do the deals from there.
Yeah, nice. And we still need to get down to the Bude Tunnel as well. Have you ever been to the Bude Tunnel? It's where is it again, Chris?
It's in Bude.
Where's Bude?
In Cornwall sort of way. Yeah. Well, next to a Sainsbury's, there is a tunnel. We did an episode all about tunnels, and there's a famous tunnel called the Bude Tunnel. And thank you to everyone who listens to this podcast that's been sending reviews of the Bude Tunnel to TripAdvisor.
Yeah. If you look on TripAdvisor, do it after this. I'd advise you do. It's brilliant. On TripAdvisor, it says Bude Tunnels with some fantastic reviews of it. And we're going to go and visit it. So if you're ever in Cornwall surfing...
Well, you must just want to constantly run through things or over things or past things. New places to run. So what would be better than just watching Sir Mo Farah running through the Bude Tunnel at a bit of pace?
That would be a sight.
It's what Bude would have always wanted.
Or doing the robot.
Be great. Oh, thank you so much for coming along today, and it's been great. And thank you so much for talking about honestly about all the story in the documentary. And it's just class getting you on, really.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks a lot, man.
Did enjoy it.
Nice.
It's all that, mate.
No problem. That's all right. It's fine.